Hi everyone, this is Arcadius and welcome back to Naval Creed. Today we'll be reviewing the second set of guns for the German cruiser O-Class, and I've renamed her Leine and the sister ship Mainz. Now, in the first video we did on the ship, we actually did go over the 15-inch guns. However, there has been a new update to them, and they have changed just a little bit. That is mainly in their fire control. So we were able to equip the 15s with this rangefinder. However, we now have a different fire control radar, and that gives us a little bit better precision and accuracy, or at least on paper it does. So we're going to try and see how that works out with her. So it basically turns into a sniper Gneisenau now. Obviously she's not a Gneisenau now, but she has the same kind of weaponry as Gneisenau now. And with this kind of setup, she has a similar playstyle to Gneisenau now, but maybe not the armor. Honestly, I'm not a big fan of the 15-inch guns. I do prefer the 283s, which you cannot use this rangefinder with. You can only use that one. I prefer the 283s for rate of fire and gun rotation and just overall number of shells per salvo as well. It might not do as much damage or get as much citadel damage, but I mean, constant damage is a lot better. Also, the 11s are better at dealing with destroyers versus the 15s. So we're going to be using the 15s today though, and using the new rangefinder or fire control radar. And yeah, the ship itself has not changed in any other way except the sister ship, I would say. And it's still such a fun ship. So we're going to try and see what we can do with the 15-inch guns today. Alright, here is all the game. We have one carrier, two battleships, and a ton of cruisers. And a lot of them actually look like O-class cruisers. There's at least 4 of them. So we're going to see how we fare against these. And I kind of wish I had taken my defensive AA consumable versus Hydro. But a carrier is never guaranteed. But apparently neither is a destroyer because we don't have any in this game. Alright, so we have a Minotaur, a Worcester, 4 O-class, an Alaska, and a Fargo. And then Iowa and Missouri. So I'm not too worried about that. I'm not really a fan of these guns either because I like to brawl with my O-class and just German ships in general. She may not be the best brawler because her armor is pretty squishy, especially the nose against 16-inch guns. But she has okay-ish secondaries, really good torpedoes. The angles might be confusing, but you have one launcher on the side, 2 underwater battle launchers, and 1 launcher on this side as well, and they're all triples. So you can launch like 12 torpedoes at once if you really wanted to. AA defense is really good. Maneuverability, not the best, but she's also a pretty big cruiser. I would hesitate to call her a battle cruiser with the 15s at least. So yeah, she's really close to the battle cruiser ranking, especially with the 15-inch guns. But other than that, she plays exactly like you would play Gneisenau now or a Scharnhorst, depending on which guns you have. She's just really fun. Alright, so let's see what else we can do here. So yeah, going back to my playstyle, I prefer to be up close with her. So the 11s work out because you can have more shells and you have a better rate of fire and better gun rotation. The 15s, at least in this setup, kind of make her a somewhat sniper. I hesitate to say that because you only have 6 shells, and I don't really think the ship should be played as a sniper. If you want a sniper kind of battlecruiser, then Kronstadt would be pretty good. Obviously, she is not available for purchase, but if you did have her, she would be better in that form. Let's see here. So we have 2 means here. It doesn't really matter which one I fire at, they're both the same. So yeah, your guns get to the target pretty quickly. But I really think the 11s will be the better guns. And those will be the ones that I will be using. But that doesn't mean the 15s are bad. They're the largest guns you can ever put on a cruiser. Or at least right now. Because there's only this ship and Kronstadt that can equip 15-inch guns. You can have Scharnhorst and the alternate guns on this ship and also the P-class. With 11s, you can have Alaska and Guam and the alternate Comanche type guns with 12s. And you can also even have Brandenburg, which is the top tier German ship at about 13.5 or so. I really wish I had my AA defense right now. So there are quite a few large gun calibers you can equip, but 15 is the largest, at least on cruisers. And I guess we might as well pop our hydro since we have it to see if there's any torpedoes coming our way. And the 15s have no problem going through the nose on this ship either. And we should be able to finish her off with the rear turret. Oh, there we go. Alright, and let's see what we can do against this Minotaur, which has no armor against 15-inch weaponry. Though, oh, she's launching torpedoes. That'll hurt. Then we still have our side launcher here. We can use that against the Fargo. There we go. And now we need to hunt down the carrier. And we do not have a repair now, so if those torpedo bombers are coming towards me, which I think they are, it's not going to be a very fun time. Yep, there we go. Alright, so let's see what our 15s can do against this Audacious here. That's actually really, really good accuracy. That right there was decent accuracy. If every shot was like that, well, heck yeah, I would play the 15s more. But they're not. One more salvo. And then we're going to have to turn away. Another Citadel. So she should actually be pretty low. Alright, so we're going to not head towards the carrier and separate ourselves from the rest of the game. We're going to go back into the fray and start messing with some of these other battleships and cruisers. What is our max range? 19.3. Okay. And we're going to let some of these ships deal with the carrier. Oh yeah, the carrier's pretty low. We're going to pop another heal. Let's see, can we do anything against this Missouri? Well, if we could hit her, that'd be nice. What else do we have? Well, we can try and get the Rooster. When it comes down to consumables, I actually do prefer the anti-air barrage on this ship, but you never... carrier is never guaranteed in the game, so it's really up to what you prefer, whether it's hydro or anti-air. Personally, I love shooting down aircraft. I'll shoot down as many as I possibly can, no matter what ship it is. So I should have gone with the anti-air defense consumable, but we went with hydro instead. And it didn't really work out for us all that well. But let's see if the 15s are able to do some decent damage against these battleships. 10k on an Iowa. It's not terrible. And then we're just trying to get some good broadside damage. I am kind of staying at medium range. There's another almost 11k. Let's see if we can punch through the nose on this Leine here before we go behind the island. Ooh, it actually went over the island. That's nice. $12.5k. But yeah, it's just consistent damage. But you could also do the same amount of damage with 11s, I would say, since you have more shells, even though they individually do not do as much. But you also get the bonus of the additional rate of fire. Now, I don't know if I would have been able to Citadel in Iowa with an 11. That is something you can do with the 15, but I mean, it's really up to what you prefer. It's either Citadels or you could just burn them as well. But the accuracy that I'm getting with this setup is actually pretty decent. I can't say I'm disappointed. Alright, so let's see what we can do against these ships since we are becoming the focus again. We're going to try and rush down this Iowa and torpedo her. Gonna pop a hydro because Leine has torpedoes. And I've already taken more than enough. There they are. I'm not slowing down quickly enough. Let's give her some torpedoes back. And then we are right close to Iowa. And this Alaska is really giving us a run for our money here. I don't think we're going to survive this. Oh, yeah. The torpedo tubes weren't... I wasn't using the right launcher. I was trying to use the side one, and it wanted to use the bow one, even though it can't actually fire that direction. I feel like the torpedo angles on the ship need work, because you can't aim the bow mounted launcher this way, even though it says you can. So they do need a little bit of work, but we're going to pause the video until it all works out here in a second. Alright, so we were able to win that game. So let's see how we were able to do. 307,000 damage, 2 ships sunk, 85 shell hits, 5 torpedo hits, 16 aircraft shot down, 6 citadels, 1 fire, 2 floodings, 3 defended caps, and 98 secondary gun hits for 5,500 base XP. We did 223,000 damage in our armor-piercing shells. Fires did about 8,000, floodings did about 500 or so, and then secondary battery did over 10,000 damage. And torpedoes did 65,000 damage, or just about, with only 5 torpedo hits. So these guns are actually not terrible. I didn't expect over 300k damage, but these are really, really, really good cruiser killer guns. But so are the 11s. I just find more consistency with the 11s, but some of those shells that we fired and some of the salvos that we had, those were extremely accurate. So if you can consistently get those, then sure, go for it. I don't know if I have the accuracy. I'm working on the accuracy skill. So you can even get those even more accurate than what they already are. And I didn't even have the module. So if you already have that good accuracy with just the rangefinder equipment there, you could really, really make this a sniper if you really wanted to. I don't think she'll be good in that. I think that is a lot of wasted potential, but it is definitely a possibility. And with that, that will wrap up today's video. And then we are going to move on to the next part of my videos. So there are some ships we still have yet to go over, such as the Japanese battleship, Hiraga. We only have 1 out of the 2 battleships that are coming out for the Amagi alternate line. So we're not going to go over her until the other one is out yet. And then we also have Poltava and Lenin, and we can look at Vladivostok, but we don't have the entire line. We don't have Kremlin yet, and we obviously can't play Vladivostok. So we're not going to review those yet either. So what we're going to do is, for some of you more diehard Naval Creed players, is we're going to take ships from each tier and each type and actually do a stats comparison of them. And we're going to do that for a weekly video. Not a daily, just a weekly video, because there's a lot of information to go over there. So for example, the first, this upcoming weekend, we're going to be going over and comparing all tier 1 cruisers. Not necessarily very exciting, but you do have to start somewhere. So we'll be going over ships like Hashidate and Erie and Broomer and Black Swan, and just comparing everything from the amount of health to the amount of guns, the number of fires you can set, to your alpha damage, to your speed, maneuverability, concealment, everything and anything you can think of. So these videos may get kind of long, and there's not going to be any gameplay. So if you are not interested in that kind of information, then I'll see you when there are new ships released. These are going to be weekly videos, but that will not stop us from reviewing any newer material. So once the other ships come out, like the Japanese battleships, the Russian battleships, or even the new American cruisers that are supposed to be coming out. Once those are released and we can play them, we'll definitely go over those. But it'll only be after they come out, and that might be replaced by the weekly video, or it might be added on to the weekly video as a separate video. I haven't fully decided yet. I'm still trying to work out the kinks here, but we are going to be going over so for the next couple weeks. So we have tier 1 cruisers, and then tier 2 destroyers, tier 2 cruisers, tier 2 battleships, and then tier 3 destroyers, tier 4 tier 3 cruisers, and then battleships, and so on and so on. So we'll work our way up. So hopefully by the time that we get to the Japanese battleships and the Russian battleships, they will be all released and finalized, and we can go over their stats without them or worrying about them being subject to change, even though every ship is still subject to change. We've seen that in quite a few updates. So if you are excited for that, then join me this weekend. I haven't figured out what day I want to make it, whether it's a Friday, Saturday, Sunday. It really depends on my schedule. But one day this weekend or later this week, we will be going over the first video of the stats clash, is how I will call it. So, like I said, if you're interested, then tune in later this week for the first video, and we will be finishing up today's video on that note. So again, thank you for watching, everyone, and take care.